Welcome to Lake Rhona. My name's Cam, this is Susi, and we are spending the next 2 days and 1 night exploring beautiful remote Tasmanian wilderness. This is Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers National Park, and there's going to be a whole lot of mud, mountains and magic. Come along for the ride. I've been wanting to hike out to Lake Rhona for a long time, but it's not the easiest place to get to. The drive out to Rasseleas Creek car park and the trailhead isn't exactly straightforward. It's nowhere near any towns or civilization, and it's a long way off any tarmac roads. The track up is rocky and pretty steep in parts. Susi's van got us there in one piece though, and we set off on the Rasseleas Track towards our final destination of Lake Rhona. It's only about 15 kilometres of walking one way to reach the lake, but as usual in southwest Tasmania, it'll be a lot harder than simply walking for a couple of hours. So we've reached the Franklin Gordon River, and it is pretty swelled at the moment. There's a couple of log crossings that we're exploring to try and get over it. This one here has, water over the top of it and nothing to hold on to, so probably a no-go, I think. There is another one that is also underwater, but I feel like is probably a bit safer, so we'll try that. This log is not much better. In fact, it's a bit deeper underwater, but it's actually not as slippery as you'd think, so I'm just going to test it out now and then come back for my pack. Wish me luck. We just made it across the Franklin Gordon. Was a little sketchy, but we did it. Susi broke her curse because last time Susi was here crossing this river, she slipped, broke both of her wrists, had to have surgery to have them repaired, and so obviously a bit nerve-wracking coming back, but got across, and we've only done 3 kilometers of walking, and it's been almost 2 hours. So another 10 or 12k left until we reach Lake Rhona, but that's the major obstacle out of the way. Between the Franklin Gordon River crossing and the climb up to Lake Rhona, it's about 10 kilometres of moorland as the trail winds through endless button grass and eucalypt forest. We hiked the trail in November, before summer had its chance to dry things out a bit, so we were faced with lots of mud and flooded trail along the way. We're about 10 kilometres in so far, and it's just been mud plains for most of the hike since we crossed the river. And so we're just sort of constantly walking through this, which is fairly slow. But luckily, the sun doesn't set till like 8:30 p.m. in Tassie this time of year. And from what I've heard, later on in summer, it's a lot drier out here, so we probably picked a pretty bad time coming in just after winter, but regardless, we will make it. Despite the slightly frustrating trail conditions, the valley we were walking through and the mountain ranges to either side were pretty damn spectacular, and no amount of mud would spoil that. From my experience, the tougher the trail, the more beautiful the destination, so we trudged on with smiles on our faces. Eventually, we began to ascend out of the moorland, onto the Denison Range. We've started this pretty big vertical climb up to Lake Rhona. I think it's about 400 metres of elevation gain. It's pretty steep, but I much prefer this to the mud, and really looking forward to getting up to the lake. Got a couple hours of light left. We have finally just come into view of Lake Rhona, and as usual, it is well worth the hike in. Look at that. So just gonna go hike down to the camping area and set up, and just enjoy the last bit of light. Maybe go for a swim. There is a bit of snow up on the mountains here, so this lake is going to be very cold. It's all melting into the lake. This is awesome. This might be the dumbest thing we've ever done. Snowmelt Lake. Sun's just set. Let's go. All dry and warm after one of the coldest swims of my life. And for dinner, salami, cheese on a baguette, a little bit of Optiventure for dessert, and a view. Living. That's a wrap on day one of the Rhona track. All cozied up in my sleeping bag and tent. It is starting to get very cold up here in the Tasmanian high country. It's been an incredible day today, and yeah, one of the coolest campsites that I've ever laid down to sleep at. So pretty stoked. Yeah, keen for sunrise tomorrow morning. See you then. Just packing up camp on the morning of day two, right here next to Lake Rhona, and up there in the clouds is Reed's Peak. It's about 1,300 meters above sea level. And the plan is, hopefully, if the clouds clear, to go make the summit of Reed's Peak this morning. So going to pack up, get all the gear, and then do a little side mission. And then, yeah, after the summit, we'll make the long trudge back to the car park. So should be a good day. It's just the most perfect little camping area on the beach here at Lake Rhona. There are a few little camping areas just up from the beach, in the sort of trees and the bush. They're a little bit more protected, so I guess if it was really bad weather, like super windy, you could come up here and set up a tent in the bushes. We're just leaving our packs at this little junction here next to the lake to go try and summit Reed's Peak, which is, yeah, it's another 400 meters of elevation gain. We're hoping the clouds clear, but while we're all the way out here, it'd be silly not to try and, yeah, summit some of the surrounding peaks that have trails to them. So that is the current mission. So we're on our way up to Reed's Peak, currently in the clouds, hoping that clears. That's where we camped last night, just down on the beach. And then, you know, this is obviously Lake Rhona, just absolutely incredibly beautiful. We're so far out from any road or civilization here. It's so remote. It's just my favorite thing in the world, I guess, to be one of the very few people out in a location, and it's so wild and just spectacular. I definitely was not expecting to see snow in Tassie this time of year, but we're up at about maybe 1,400 meters above sea level, or 1,300, and there's just beautiful soft snow. Insane, so cool. And that is Reed's Peak just behind me here, so we're almost at the summit as well. This is the other side of the range that we're on. Just Tasmanian true wilderness as far as the eye can see. So freaking cool. We made it to the summit of Reed's Peak. Oh my God. Heck yes. Nice work, mate. We are just saying goodbye to Lake Rhona last time and heading back into the mud. How exciting. Back to the mud. Endless mud. How do you feel about the mud, Susie?
I love it. I love the pain, the discomfort.
That's good.
I learned from the best.
You're learning. We get to walk through mud. We don't have to.
That's right.
We have made it back to the Franklin Gordon River. It's actually a little bit lower today than it was yesterday, which is nice. We made it across easy peasy.
Yeah, this time was much better.
Car park's only like 2 kilometers from here, so that was the last obstacle of the day, and it has been a day full of obstacles. But we're happy to make it. We made it back to the car park.
Yeah.
Over 9 hours of trudging today.
I think it was almost 10 hours.
Almost 10 hours of trudging today.
22 kilometers.
We did have an incredible morning up, what was that mountain called?
Reed's Peak.
Reed's Peak. And the rest of the day was kind of a slog, but we got here and overall that was a really incredible trail. Super remote, super beautiful. A good challenge, which we do love, not necessarily in the moment, but we'll look back on it fondly for sure. So highly recommend giving Lake Rhona a crack. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff, and see you soon. Cheers.